They don't always look dangerous. Some people break you without shouting, without threats, without touching you. They smile, they help, they get close, then twist something inside you so quietly you don't realize you're bleeding until it's too late. They leave no bruises, only doubts, only silence. And when you finally feel it, you blame yourself. You're not paranoid. You're waking up. This is how they move. 15 signs. Not loud, not obvious, but deadly. If you've ever walked away from someone and felt worse, emptier, smaller, this is for you. Let's begin. They manipulate through charm. They don't push, they pull, with smiles, with softness, with small favors that never feel free. They wrap control in kindness, dress manipulation in warmth. And by the time you notice, you're already tangled. You feel guilty for saying no, rude for protecting your space. That's the trick. They don't want your trust, they want your obedience. And they'll never raise their voice to get it. Just one favor, then another. Then the debt builds. You think you're being kind, but you're being harvested. The Stoic knows. Not all charm is real, not all warmth is safe, not every gift is free. So next time someone offers you help, ask yourself, what do they want to own? Because if they're keeping score, it was never generosity, it was bait. They smile while sharpening the knife. Not all smiles are safe. Some hide sharp things. They look warm, but behind that grin, something waits. They praise you. They listen. They make you feel seen. But it's not for connection. It's for collection. Your secrets, your triggers, your blind spots, all stored until they need leverage. Then, the blade comes out. Fast, clean, and you won't see it coming. Because you were too busy feeling understood. The Stoic watches differently. He doesn't just hear the words, he reads the motive. He knows a compliment with conditions is a threat wrapped in sugar. A friend who disappears when you struggle was never a friend. So next time someone's kindness feels too perfect, pause, strip away the smile, and look for the knife. Because real care doesn't need a mask, but betrayal always smiles first. They lie like they breathe. Some people lie not because they have to, but because it's easier than truth. A lie costs them nothing, but buys them control. And once it works, they do it again and again, until the truth is no longer needed, only the story that serves them. They lie to look good, they lie to avoid blame, they lie just to see if they can get away with it. And the worst part, they smile when they do it. The Stoic doesn't panic around liars. He observes. He doesn't fight the falsehood. He refuses to build on it, because truth is structure. Lies? Just sand. One wind and it all collapses. So when someone's words don't match their actions, believe the actions. Don't argue. Don't chase their truth. Just leave the illusion behind. Because if they lie like they breathe, then every breath near them is toxic. They seduce you with false generosity. Some gifts are traps. They offer help. They offer time. They offer just because. But nothing is ever just. They're not giving. They're investing. And the return is control. You'll hear it later, I did that for you, as if their kindness was a contract you never signed. That's the move. Make you feel in debt, make you feel obligated, make you say yes when everything in you wants to say no. But here's the truth. Real generosity doesn't follow you, doesn't haunt you, doesn't come back with a price tag. The Stoic accepts kindness, but never owns it. He gives back when he chooses, not when he's cornered. So next time someone's favor feels too polished, ask yourself, is this a gift or a hook? Because false generosity never ends in peace. It ends with a leash, and they expect you to wear it. They poison rooms just by entering. You don't always see it, but you feel it. The tension, the shift, the sudden need to shrink yourself. They walk in and the air gets heavier. Their words may sound normal, but the energy, it drips. Negativity, judgment, control. They don't need to scream. Their silence scalds. They gossip, they sigh too loudly, they roll their eyes when no one asks. And somehow, everyone leaves feeling worse. These people aren't loud. They're just exhausting. The Stoic doesn't fight their chaos. He doesn't absorb it, He leaves it. He knows peace is not a reward, it's a requirement. So if someone's presence feels like poison, you don't need proof, you need distance. Because if your nervous system tenses every time they arrive, that's your answer. Some people don't break peace by accident. They hunt it, they hate it, because it exposes them. They hate your joy. They don't always say it, but they show it. When you're happy, they flinch. When you shine, they shrink. And when life gives you even a glimpse of peace, they change. The smile fades, the support dries up, the compliments turn hollow, because your joy reminds them of what they don't have. And that? They can't stand it. They'll never say, "I'm jealous." They'll say, "You've changed." They'll call it fake. They'll call it luck. They'll say, "You think you're better now?" No. You just stopped suffering where they still do. The Stoic doesn't shrink for comfort. He doesn't dim for approval. He knows your light is not a crime. And if it threatens them, let it. Because those who hate your joy are the ones who benefited from your pain. Shine anyway. And when they glare, smile. That's how you know it's working. They feed off drama. Silence makes them itch. Peace makes them paranoid. They need noise. They need reaction. Without chaos, they have no control. So they stir the pot, drop comments like daggers, twist words, then step back and watch. They act confused when things explode. But don't be fooled. They lit the match. The Stoic sees it, feels the bait, and stays still. Because not every war deserves your sword. And some fires only grow when you breathe on them. Let them talk. Let them twist. You owe them nothing. Not your energy, not your clarity, not your center. They crave drama because it's the only thing that distracts them from their emptiness. Don't give them that escape. Be the silence they can't provoke. And when they scream louder, whisper. That's how you win. They make you doubt yourself. They don't need to insult you. They just plant questions. Are you sure you think that's a good idea? Don't you think you're overreacting? Tiny seeds, dropped quietly, over time, until your voice is no longer yours. You second-guess every move. You hesitate in your own skin. You shrink, and they smile. Because that's the goal. Control doesn't always come through fear. Sometimes it comes through confusion. The Stoic knows confidence is fragile. And some people make it their hobby to break it. But here's the truth. If someone feels stronger when you feel smaller, that is not love. That is not respect. That is sabotage in disguise. So next time someone's tone makes your spine tense, pause. Check your truth. Check your center. Return to it. Because your self-trust is sacred. And anyone who chips away at it doesn't belong near it. Not now, not ever. They fear accountability. They always have someone else to blame, always a reason, always an excuse. It's never their fault, never their decision, never their mess. They dodge, they deflect, they rewrite the story so they're always the victim. Because taking responsibility requires strength. And they don't have it. The Stoic sees through it. He doesn't get pulled into the spin. He doesn't clean up their chaos. He lets them sit with it. Because every time you rescue someone from their own consequences, you teach them that accountability is optional, and it's not. If someone keeps running from every mistake they make, they're not growing. They're hiding. And if you keep covering for them, you're hiding too. So next time the blame starts flying, stand still. Let the truth land where it belongs, and walk away from those who wear innocence like a disguise. Because those who fear accountability will always trade your peace to protect their ego. They envy, like it's oxygen. They won't say it, but they feel it. When you win, they go quiet. When you grow, they get distant. When something good happens to you, they vanish. Because your progress exposes their stagnation. Your joy threatens their illusion of control. They'll downplay your success. They'll question your luck. They'll smile, but it won't reach their eyes. The Stoic doesn't chase applause. He doesn't perform for envy. He simply notices who claps and who clenches. Because envy is silent, but not invisible. It leaks through tone, through timing, through absence. So pay attention. Not everyone upset with you has been wronged. Sometimes, they're just watching you do what they didn't dare. And that burns them. Let it. You aren't born to shrink for their comfort. Breathe deep, shine anyway. If it suffocates them, that was never your air to share. They fake care just to control. I'm just looking out for you. I only want what's best. You know I care, right? Sounds sweet, sounds safe, but listen closely, because care, without respect, is just control. They don't ask, they insist, they don't support, they steer. They use concern to corner you. Every choice you make becomes an offense. Every boundary you set makes them the victim. That's not love, that's leverage. Real care holds space, fake care takes it. The Stoic knows intentions matter, but so do patterns. If their help always comes with pressure, it's not help. If they listen just to direct, it's not care. It's a leash, wrapped in soft words. So ask yourself, do they want what's best for you, or what's easiest for them? Because the ones who truly care don't need to control you to keep you close. They just stand beside you and let you choose, and that's all the proof you'll ever need. They promise, then vanish. They always say the right things. I'll be there. You can count on me, trust me. And you do, because they sound sure. Because they look sincere. Because you want to believe them. But promises are easy to make when you never plan to keep them. They disappear when it matters. They're silent when you call. They show up when it's convenient, not when it counts. And still, they act shocked when you stop depending on them. The Stoic doesn't build on words, he watches behavior. Because loyalty isn't spoken, it's shown. If someone's patterns don't match their promises, believe the pattern. Not the excuse, not the apology, not the next empty vow. Just the silence that always follows when you need them most. You don't need more promises, you need people who show up. And if they don't, let them vanish. You never owed your trust to someone who only offered it in theory. They live to shift blame. They never do anything wrong. Just ask them. It was the timing, the pressure, the way you misunderstood. Every mistake, someone else's fault. Every conflict, your reaction. They're always the victim, in a story they wrote. The Stoic doesn't play that game. He doesn't chase apologies. He doesn't argue over false timelines. He just steps back and watches the spin. Because blame isn't just deflection, it's manipulation. It keeps them clean while you carry the mess. And the longer you stay, the more you start to apologize for things you didn't do. That's the trap. You begin to own what isn't yours just to keep the peace. But real peace doesn't come from walking on eggshells. It comes from walking away. So when someone refuses to hold their part of the wreckage, don't lift it for them. Drop it, leave it. Let them stand in what they built. If they can't take responsibility, they were never worthy of your trust. They use your guilt as a leash. They don't yell, they don't threaten. They just make you feel bad for doing what's right for you. You say no, they go silent. You set a boundary, they look hurt. You choose peace, they call it selfish. And suddenly you're back to pleasing. Not because you agree, but because you feel responsible for how they feel. That's the leash. Guilt pulled tight. Every time you try to walk away, the Stoic sees it. He doesn't absorb it. Because someone else's discomfort is not his duty. Someone else's feelings are not his cage. If they only accept you when you're bending, they don't love you. They love control. And if the only way to keep them happy is to abandon yourself, that's not a relationship. That's a prison. That's a prison. So drop the leash, let the guilt go. You're not here to carry what they refuse to process. And you're not selfish for choosing peace. You're free. They hate peace because it exposes them. Stillness makes them restless. Silence makes them squirm. Not because it's wrong, but because it reveals them. Peace has no distractions, no noise to hide behind, no drama to redirect the light, and that light makes their shadow undeniable. They can't play the victim, can't spin the story, can't blame the chaos when there is none. So they create it, they poke, they provoke, they pull you into conflict just to feel in control again. But the Stoic? He doesn't bite. He doesn't chase noise, he becomes the silence they fear most. Because peace is not weakness, it's exposure. It shows who's grounded and who needs the storm to survive. So next time someone tries to pull you into fire, ask yourself, what are they so afraid you'll see if things go quiet? And then, stay quiet anyway. Because the ones who hate your calm were only ever powerful when you were at war with yourself. The most dangerous people never look dangerous. They smile. They help. They pretend to care. But inside, they drain, they confuse, they control. And by the time you realize it, you've already given too much. Time, energy, trust. This video wasn't made to create fear. It was made to create clarity. Because the Stoic doesn't hate the enemy, he sees it and walks away. No rage, no revenge, just distance. The most powerful thing you can do is recognize the pattern and choose peace over chaos every time. So now you know what to look for, and more importantly, what to walk away from.